Welcome to the From Whistle to Whistle podcast on the Dynasty DNA podcasting network, where we debate the hottest NFL and Dynasty fantasy football topics every week. So sit back, pick a side, and enjoy the show. And here is your From Whistle to Whistle host and moderator, TJ Blake.
Welcome back, DNA Strand crew, to the newest episode of From Whistle to Whistle here on the Dynasty DNA podcasting network. I'm your host, TJ Blake. You can follow me over on X at FFTJBlakeDNA. And as always, from Whistle to Whistle, we're joined in his predominantly blue corner, the one and only Dynasty DNA co-founder, Ty Blake. You can follow him over on X at Dynasty DNA. Ty, a lot of big things happening here post preseason week one. Some injuries, some news, some players maybe playing well, not so well. You ready to talk about it here today?
Oh, yeah, let's get into it.
For sure. And no red quarter tonight. We give Mike the night off. He deserved a night off, ladies and gentlemen, so he's going to get his night off. And, you know, the season's coming, so sometimes it's good to get a little bit of a breather before it begins. But we are joined in the yellow corner with that lovely, terrible towel up on the wall. I keep talking about that. He is on the Wisconsin-Minnesota line, the Dynasty DNA propaganda minister himself, Justin Tessier, better known as Tessier. You can follow him over on X at Tessier91. Tessier, I really like the vibes you got going on in your studio there. You're really turning it into something. We got the terrible towel up, the piss whiz off. Ty can appreciate that. And you know what? You got the yellow corner looking great, my friend.
Yeah, I'll keep it rolling, but I just pray to the fantasy gods, leave my Kyle Monungai and Breece Hall alone. Let them be healthy. Let them be good.
For sure. A lot of injuries and dings and things like that going on, so let's just talk about it right here, right now. We'll get into it, and we will be starting in the blue corner because this is a Ty and Ty connection. This is what the question is here. Okay, Ty, after a strong outing in week one of the preseason, what's your thoughts on Ty Simpson? Are you buying the hype? Are you shaking it off as one good game against backups in preseason? How are you approaching this? And is he a good target for rebuilders and trades, in your opinion, in dynasty leagues right now?
Yeah, it's tough. It just all kind of depends on who you are. I mean, I know a lot of people, don't really care because it's preseason, and some people, get a little too excited. I'm kind of in the middle. Like, I get it's preseason, but you got to play what's in front of you. Like, if you're any good at football, you're going to have to look good in preseason, and he did look great in his first game. It does give me some a little bit of joy and a little bit of hope for him because, I mean, they reached for him. He wasn't supposed to go that early and kind of took him out of nowhere, even though they have Matt Stafford, who thinks they can go for a couple more years. So, and they're kind of a good quarterback factory. They always seem to bring in guys, fix them up, and let them loose, and they go out kind of like Baker and transforms his career. And, yeah, it just always seems like they always got good quarterbacks over there. So, they've shown a lot of belief in him. McVay's a heck of a coach, a good leader. Sitting behind Stafford's always a good thing. He's a good guy, it seems, and I think he's someone that will probably take time to teach him, learn the ropes a little bit. And, I mean, I don't think you can get too excited. You can't piss your pants, but you also can't really be dull and say, well, it's just preseason. I just think that you got to say, yeah, it's preseason, but he looked really darn good. Hopefully he can replicate that in week 2 of preseason.
Absolutely. And that's the thing, though, Ty. I think you said it best. Like, I mean, it's good to be in the middle on stuff like this, but I will say, and I want to get your opinion before we go over to Tessier, like, a lot of times I've been drafting him 109 to 112. I've been getting him a lot back there. You've seen it in a couple rookie drafts we're in together. I just think, and I think you would take the same approach, like, you can wait on this guy, and I think that you're going to be really rewarded, I think, later on. Like, I'm not saying the guy's going to be a world beater, but I just don't think he's going to be a bust either. I think he's going to at least be a decent player.
Yeah, I think he'll be pretty solid.
Yeah, I do too. I do as well. And, for rebuilders, Ty, and I know you're not in a lot of these situations, though, I think this guy would be a good target, right? I mean, like, because you won't get points right away.
Yeah.
And you can sit him there and wait on him, and the next year or two, we know he's going to get the shot.
Yeah, in this draft class, I think if you're drafting that late, getting a guy like that, I'd be ecstatic.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, and we kind of seen the raw talent when we did the film process, right? It's just that he needed this kind of destination and coaching to work with him. And not only that, you get Matt Stafford on your hip as well.
Yeah.
Don't get much better if you're Ty Simpson. Okay, Tessier, let's hop right into it, right? I mean, we had some players really ball out, but the quarterbacks are the quarterbacks, right? Like, I mean, this is something we have to talk about, the Ty and Ty connection. We ought to throw our Ty in this as well. But after a very strong outing week 1 of the preseason, what's your thoughts on Ty Simpson? Are you buying the hype, or are you going to shake it off as one good game against backups of preseason? And in your opinion, is he a good target for rebuilders as well in dynasty leagues?
For me personally, I've just made a mental note of this performance from week 1. I don't think it's making me run in line to go try to scramble for him. The savvy owners are out there. They're probably giving a little more premium prices now that he's had his first preseason game under his belt and what he did with that. I mean, I'll put a respectable offer out there to whomever. I'm not going to be twisted if I don't get him, and I'm not going to be kicking myself if I pass on him in drafts just because he's still going to be waiting in line for at least as long as Matt Stafford stays healthy, 2 years. But you guys brought it up. He's a system with a great coach and a great quarterback ahead of him, so he's primed to cultivate and grow and develop as a really good quarterback here in the NFL if all things go his favor. And if I'm a rebuilder, I am pursuing him. I am going after him because it'd be a solid quarterback 4 or 5 on your roster to put on your taxi spot until your other ones cycle out through age or for just poor performances. I think that Ty Simpson has, if anything he's done from this first preseason game, is given us a view of the floor, what he's like capable of, what he's competent at the NFL level. But it's not necessarily giving me any like ecstatic feelings like he's going to have some sort of huge ceiling in 2026. It gives me more relief that if I did go out and draft him in this 2026 class in the later rounds, that my pick is safe. Whereas before the preseason game, we had a lot of question marks about what he was capable of, what he's going to do. And I think the more time he spends with McVay and Stafford, I think his value is going to go up.
Well, let me just say this, right? Like, I look at this as like the Jordan Love, Aaron Rodgers model. Like, it's eerily similar to what the Rams are trying to do here, with, the Green Bay situation. And it worked out for both of those players, right? Like, you had to be very patient with Jordan Love. But, I mean, if you picked him where you picked him, it worked out.
Oh, yeah.
I think the same thing's going to happen for Ty Simpson. And, you go back to your word, Ty, culture, right? Culture, organizations. Like Bob said on the Culture Shock, it's nice to see teams like the Rams, knowing that they're in a position of strength, developing the future here, right? Slowly but surely, because no matter how we all don't like it, like the good things come to an end. Like one hit and Stafford could be done. I hope not. I'm a big fan of Stafford, but it could happen.
Well, in the long term, too, I mean, as long as he keeps a level head in his shoulders and he does re-sign there, he's going to have Puka. As his right-hand man for a long time coming. So
absolutely, and who knows what Sean McVay and that offensive staff could bring in the meantime as well. I mean, like they're capable of a lot of stuff. So, very exciting for you Ty Simpson owners out there. And let me just say this, though, right? Like, I am just as bold as to say, like, I know people always like to get draft capital, right? And if you want to get 27 draft capital when you're trading a veteran quarterback in some kind of a deal, I absolutely promote that. I put my stamp on that. But, like, say you're dealing with a team that doesn't quite have enough draft capital, and they say, well, I'll throw in Ty Simpson. That is going to matter to me on a rebuilding roster. Like, I'll say, I'm getting a quarterback back, a quarterback that I like as a developmental project, and then I'll get what draft capital I can on top of that, right? And that could be a nice matchmaking type of deal when you're looking in a rebuilding stance. So, you rebuilders out there, if you're trading a veteran quarterback in particular and you get an offer like that, I think that could be really good for you. So keep your eyes and ears open if someone's willing to offer him up. I think there's a little bit more to this than preseason hype. As you guys said, I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but when we're talking about a raw player coming in and looking as good as he did, and he's just going to continue to sit there and get better and learn, I just think it could only grow from there. I think all the physical traits are pretty well marked and check marked for Ty Simpson. It's just that developmental process. But it will be interesting. Great game for him, and it's a great confidence builder, too, for a young player as well. But let's go over now to question number 2, Tessier. Rookie wide receiver gut check. Okay, fellas, with a lot of less than positive news on some of these rookie wide receivers, I'm going to list them, and one for one, I want to know if you would rather take a random 2027 pick or picks and re-roll, or stick with these young guys right now, and why do you feel the way that you do if you're going to stick it out with the player opposed to the pick? Tessier, started out here with you. We know that Makai Lemon's dealing with this hamstring thing. It's not a huge thing, right? But it is slowing down the developmental process and, him getting reps early on here. What's your thoughts? You re-rolling for that 27 random first, or are you going to hold on to Makai Lemon?
I just don't think that Makai Lemon is going to come into this Philadelphia offense and be the guy. Smith is still pretty young, and he's now hungry, getting that spot at the de facto wide receiver one. And with injuries already popping up in the preseason and practice, I don't want to play that game. I mean, I think he'll be a good player, but I'd rather take the lottery pick and go after the pick than try to play the whatabouts and what if game with Makai Lemon in that offense, because we know what Jalen Hurts has been doing at quarterback there. They've been rolling through OCs like they're just, expired milk every year. It's just, it's a situation for, at least for the wide receivers go, I'm kind of just not sold on it, and I don't want any part of, but I don't think it's a talent or ability issue with Makai Lemon. I think it's more of the situation and the environment, and his health is just too much. With that draft class coming up, I'd rather just take the lottery ticket in the pick.
All right, so Tessier is going to go with the lottery ticket. He's going to take the pick here, Ty, over Makai Lemon, making some good points about this offense and a little bit of injury trouble. I know that you like Makai Lemon as far as his profile, right? I mean, you kind of know what he's about a little bit, but you tell me, Ty, because this injury is a little bit annoying, right? And then you throw the fact that it is Jalen Hurts, it is this Eagles offense that A.J. Brown had to jettison himself from. Would you rather have Makai Lemon or re-roll for the 2027 first?
Yeah, I'm going to take the pick. I just don't like, obviously, the spot. I mean, I don't trust Hurts. I don't know if Lemon can get enough volume for me to justify getting rid or to taking that over a 2027 first, random 2027 first. I just think there's a lot more talented players in that class, personally. And, I mean, the injuries are already a start. And I feel like Philly kind of, I mean, he was supposed to go around that area, but I think they kind of reached for a receiver because they knew that A.J. Brown was going out the door, and they probably thought this guy was probably the best available. So, not saying he's going to be a bad player or anything, but I just think that I would feel more comfortable taking the pick.
Agreed. And when I look at a player like Makai Lemon, and I think you guys can agree with this, he just seems to me he doesn't have the biggest ceiling in this team. And it's nothing against it. It's this team, right? It's this situation. He can almost be shackled a little bit. And we know Devonta Smith ain't chump change, right? He's going to get his whatever he can get. We know he's capable of that. And then we know they're going to hand the ball off to Saquon Barkley a zillion times.
They got Goddard.
Two tight ends. They drafted the kid, too, Eli Stowers. And then also they could just do this tush-push thing that we know that they love and always fall back to in these short yardage situations especially. So, I mean, yes, I agree with you guys. And, I look at it at the standpoint, too, right? I think Ty and Tessier and myself, we build a lot of contending-type rosters. Even if you get the pick, maybe you could take the pick and get something else, even if you didn't want to go the rookie route, right? We know these 27 firsts are valuable, right? So, if someone's willing to give that up and they want to take the young player in Makai Lemon, maybe I could take that and, it could get me into a Justin Jefferson type if I trade two of them picks, right? That's entirely possible, too. So, just throwing that out there, this gives me a lot of flexibility if I go with the pick, I feel right? Over, I think, a limited ceiling there in Philadelphia. But, Ty, we're going to come over here now to you for the next one. The injury man himself, Jordyn Tyson, out for 2 months. We heard that already. Not a good sign considering his college track record of injuries. Would you rather have Jordyn Tyson or would you take the random 2027 first, Ty?
Yeah, I'm going to take the pick. I think this guy's going to have a rough time with injuries, and that's the big thing for me. I mean, just put talent aside. I think he's a talented player. Not a huge fan of the landing spot either. I mean, the Saints, they really don't garner a lot of points down there at the wide receiver position. I mean, they do got Olave, and he's going to dominate that position. So I just don't want it to be another Christian Watson kind of deal, and that's kind of the way I think it's going to end up. I mean, they're kind of the same build and same stature and just can never stay healthy. And Christian Watson has all the talent in the world, but the guy can't stay healthy, and I think this guy's going to kind of have the same time. And it's too frustrating for me, and I think I'd just rather have the pick.
Oh, my. Ty throwing out the Christian Watson reference, and I'll give you credit, Ty. Like, very good reference, right? Like, as you said, you could see some talent. It's intriguing, but when you can't play, right, like, and you're not available, what good is it? And you look at this, I don't care. Like, everyone's going to say, well, it's his first year in the league. I get that, but it's alarm bells when you've had this track record of college injuries on top of it, right? And it's only going to get worse in the pros because everything gets ramped up.
That's right.
So that's always a concern of mine, too. Teixeira, Ty throwing out the Christian Watson reference. I think he was very good and spot on with that as far as talent and injury concerns, right? He's like the king of that, Christian Watson. But Jordyn Tyson or the random 2027 first, I have a feeling which way you're going to go, but do you agree with a lot of what Ty had to say, and do you have a different spin on this?
Yeah, I think Ty put it eloquently enough and nailed most of the key points I was going to get at about Tyson in this situation. Although I think that for going with the 2027 first, it's a little bit less of a landmine than with Jordyn Tyson, just due to the health concerns already, as it's been pointed out, that track record. But they also brought in a few other pieces in this draft, in Lance and Brown and Delp, and it's going to cut into the pie quite a bit. And we're still not fully sold on the Tyler Shuck experience, if he's going to be able to consistently feed multiple receiving options in this offense with Kellen Moore. I mean, he is a good prospect and he had a good season there, but this is going to be a make or break season for Shuck to really showcase these draft prospects that the Saints invested in, and one of them Tyson being, and if he's not going to be on the field because of his health and unavailability, that really just knocks his stock down a little bit more, and it's not really, I don't think, worth the investment in Tyson over that 2027 random first. I'd rather just go that route and be happier by the end of the year with having capital in next season and maybe flipping it and using that capital for another wide receiver.
Definitely, and Ty made another good point about Chris Olave, right? Like, I mean, everyone, I just thinks that, the hopes that Chris Olave kind of gets buried by this. Like, I mean, I think that the people like the Jordyn Tyson truthers, right, when he landed there, thought like, okay, he could take on Chris Olave. I don't know about that, right? I think Olave's the better player. Yep. It's just another thing, health with him as well, and it's concussions and things like that. But if we get a healthy Chris Olave like we seen last year with Tyler Shuck, it's going to be hard to pry that whole rapport away from each other. Them two played very, very well together. And, I mean, these injuries, I mean, best ability is availability. And if you get hurt like you did in college, like we've seen, I mean, and this is the pros now. Everything gets ramped up, and it gets harder and tougher on you. So that makes me worry even more about injuries.
Yeah, I think he might even have to just kind of change the way he plays the game. I mean, he's this really physical guy, and he takes a lot of injuries. And like you said, I mean, it's kind of like going from Pee-wee baseball to the major leagues real fast, college to the NFL. I mean, it only gets faster and even better. So, yeah, I mean, I don't know. It just doesn't really seem to mesh the way he plays the game and the injuries. So
agreed. He's got to get some kind of trainer or something that can help him because, it's just like this, man. The guys are bigger, faster, stronger, right, in the NFL, and it's only going to get tougher from there. So I agree with you guys, and I think you were spot on with a lot of it. Let's go over now to the next one here to share Denzel Boston or a random 27 second and third. What would you do here? Because, okay, we go into the second round now of the 27 class. Would you rather have the two picks, or would you just gamble on Denzel Boston there with the Browns, who, according to a lot of people, is getting the number one wide receiver looks on that team? I don't know how much that really means considering the quarterback play, but he is getting the number one looks there to Shara.
Yeah, at those prices, I think I'm in on Boston. Along with that, Casey Concepcion's been battling his own injuries and problems through preseason and practices. I like Denzel Boston as being the wide receiver one for the Cleveland Browns. It always has been, it most likely always will be a quarterback problem there. And until he gets competent, consistent quarterback play, I think his performances and his finishes will be capped by that. I like the talent and ability coming out of college and what he was capable of doing, and I like the role that he should be doing in Cleveland, that big-bodied red zone target and deep ball threat. He's a physical wide receiver, and he's, to his credit, staying healthy. So I think that prices as second and third. I hope they're closer mid to late than early to mid. And if that's the case, I'm even more in on Denzel Boston. And on my roster builds, if I'm having him just sit as my wide receiver 4 or 5 for those prices on a contending team, I think that'll be a good spot for people to invest in him on. But I think it's a much better investment on Denzel Boston than those first guys of Lemon or Tyson for the first.
Right. I mean, it was a little bit more cost efficient, right? I mean, with the second and the third, he is getting the number one looks there in that offense. It will be interesting. He is that bigger bodied guy, that more X-style receiver. Ty, this one's interesting. I mean, I think it was a little bit closer. I think that I kind of had a gut feeling that you two would go with the picks over the two other guys. But what's your feelings on Denzel Boston or the second and third random in 2027? Is it that big of a gap to you, or are you going to go one way or the other slightly?
Closer, but I still think I'll probably lean the picks. I'm just not trusting the Cleveland Browns receiver. There's no quarterback play there. I mean, the guy, one grab in that game, it wasn't overly impressive. I have been hearing a lot of hype, but even Jerry Jeudy doesn't really seem to make it work there. And I mean, he was a darling coming out. I mean, he was supposed to be pretty much a can't miss prospect. It's tough because it's so early, but I'm not a fan. I think I'm just going to hold on to the picks.
All right, so Ty is going to keep the picks or go with the picks. And, I mean, again, you could take these picks and maybe go get another player of some kind, right? Like, instead of gambling on a Boston, I think I'm going to lean with the picks too, but I will say this. I mean, I think that this year he's going to have some kind of value because he's going to get a lot of targets. It's just, can they get to him? Are they good targets? And can he do anything with them? Right? Like, that's where it's going to come down to. But with the quarterback play as bad as it is, we know this is going to be an adventure for any receiving option on this team. Even a Harold Fannin, who we think's kind of an athletic freak, it's going to be tough for him, I think, even with this quarterback play. So I think I'm going to lean with the picks here as well, but again, a little bit closer, right? Like I said, I had a feeling you guys were going to go more for the, 27 first over the other two fellas, but I got a feeling that, this one was going to be a little tighter, but I think I'm going to lean with the picks too. Let's go over here now to the next one here, the last one to close it out, Ty. Deshaun Stribling of the San Francisco 49ers or a random 27 second and a random 27 third. We know that the San Francisco 49er wide receiver core has its fair share of injuries. He looked pretty decent in his first preseason action with this team. What are you doing here? Would you rather gamble on Stribling in this type of offense, or would you rather go for the lottery tickets?
I'm just leaning the picks again. I mean, I just don't really know what to think about him either. I just think, again, they're just they need somebody to step up, and now they're hoping this guy can be it. I mean, yeah, he looked good in his first preseason game, but he's playing against a bunch of backup Tennessee Titan players. I just, personally, I think I'm just going to stay away. It seems too historically lately like these receivers can't stay healthy. None of them, hardly.
In San Francisco.
So I think I'm just going to kind of lean away. But, I mean, I could also possibly see him taking a Juwan Jennings approach, and he was kind of a decent flex guy for a couple years. So I think it could go either way, but I think I'll lean the picks just based on, even if it goes good for him, how much more valuable is he going to be than that? So I think that's kind of the way I would do it. So
let me ask you, if he comes out and plays well, I mean, were you going to sell high, or do you think that you would hold on to him? Say he impresses well, do you think you'd be more inclined to hold at that point? Or say he comes out week one and has a solid game and people want to get in on him, are you going to sell because of what's coming behind him, like these other 49ers that could come back healthy? What's your thoughts there?
I'd probably sell, but it just kind of depends on the price, what they come after you for. I mean, maybe 2 seconds?
Right, you maybe get 2 seconds.
I would take that.
You would take the 2 seconds,
yeah.
Even if he played well early in the season.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Ty, a little bit concerned about this wide receiver core's injury history, right? I mean, the substation is real. We talk about that a lot with this team. There's got to be something to it. But you look at this, Tessier, right now there's a big opening here for a Stribling to make some noise potentially early in the season. Are you more inclined to think about the way Ty is right now, right? Maybe if he comes out and plays well early, you're going to sell high. or if you could right now get that second and third, you're just going to take it and try to invest in something else. What's your approach here? Would you rather have Stribling or the picks, Tessier?
Oof, man, that substation is undefeated up to this point. And I don't think that the wide receiver room on the San Francisco 49ers team is the position group to have on rosters and in for Dynasty. I would take the picks of the second and the third here on this one until one of those 49ers wide receivers, Stribling included, really stands out and gives me a reason to keep them on my roster. I am just going to stay away and not clog my roster with them. I think they're more liabilities. He could be a great prospect, but I'm just personally not trying to play that game with these San Francisco wide receivers and trying to guess who and which one's it going to be each week or the future of it. I think it's just too much mind games for you. And as someone who runs mostly contending rosters, I just don't want to deal with it at all. He might be talented. He might be great at some point, but it's a game that I don't want to play, and I'm not going to try to shoehorn him on my rosters. I think a second and a third is great enough value. I don't know how much higher he goes as far as worth. I don't think he's going to be in like the 27 first category as far as getting returned for at any point. And I don't know if like what sort of like true value he's going to have on the team. But I mean, I hope for the guy. I hope he does good and well, but I'm not buying into it.
Okay, so Tessier is going to agree with Ty here. He's not going to get too wound up and invested in it. And let me just say, you're going to take the picks. I mean, I'm okay with taking the picks as well, but, me and Bob talked about this. If he finishes as a wide receiver 3 or something this year, I wouldn't be shocked because, they have nobody. And it is a Kyle Shanahan system, and it is Brock Purdy, right? But I will say this, Ty, I just want to get your opinion real quickly. Bob said, just based off of the horrible Browns landing spots for some of these receivers, we already talked about Boston, Omar Cooper Jr. to the Jets. Like he said, you could make a case if people were doing their rookie drafts right now, maybe picking Stribling towards the back end of the first, just based off of opportunity and being in a good offense. Not saying that he's going to be a long-term mainstay, but he could do some damage this year if everything lines up right.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's a good spot to take him. But even if he is a wide receiver 3, how much better are you going to get in the second or third?
Right. I mean, the value I'm saying, but I'm just saying, though, right. I mean, he's probably better off, at least in the short term, not being a bust than some of these other players are.
Oh, I agree with that. Yeah, I definitely think that, he even could be a guy you can plug and play in your lineup and flex. It's just, I don't know. It's a weird one. I think that if he is going to have any value, it's just going to be this year, and I guess we'll see how good he can be.
Right, and you guys are saying, say he comes out early on, finishes as a high wide receiver 2 or back end wide receiver 1 even.
Yeah.
You would take those 2 seconds and run.
Yeah, absolutely.
You would do the same, Tessier?
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so you guys are on the same page with that as well, and I tend to agree, right? I mean, when a player hits more than probably their max worth is going to be in their entire career, I mean, as a gut feeling is, I could agree with that. But I do think the kid has a chance to play well, and I think he will play decent in this team, in this system. Kyle Shanahan wanted him for a reason. We'll see how it goes. But let's go over now to the next one here on the list, and it's going to be starting out with you, Ty. Are you a worry ward? Seeing Cam Ward struggle pretty handily against the 49ers second-string defenders this past week, what's your takeaways? Is this a red alert in your mind that we haven't seen that next step in his game to this point? Also, give me a scale of 1 to 10 on your worry meter on Cam Ward in this Tennessee Titans offense ahead of week 1 after this performance.
Yeah, I've been on red alert since last season. Everyone knows it. I wasn't surprised. It was a disaster. People were excited, thinking he's going to come out and throw all over the place. He didn't. I did the opposite, as he always does. I've like I said, I've been on red alert. I'm not surprised. It wasn't good at all. Scale 1 to 10. I'll still give him the benefit of the doubt. I'll say an 8, closer to a 9, just because it is a whole new coaching staff pretty much, and there's some new guys coming through the door with Wandale, and then first round receiver
Cornell Tate.
Sorry, a brain fart. everyone's trying to get used to each other. I think that does play a factor too. But yeah, you're playing against backups. This is the starting offense. You want to come out and prove a point, and they fell flat. But I haven't been a Cam Ward guy since day one, and like I said, I'm not surprised that he struggled. I just don't think he's very talented personally.
And it's the situation in general, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, it isn't good. I mean, any way you cookie cut it. And, like, I know you ain't no Cam Ward cheerleader, but you look at this Titans team, right? This offensive line is just abysmal, right? I mean, like, it is just abysmal.
That too.
That's not good. And, I mean, like, the targets, like you said, yes, they brought in some help, but, like, can they mesh? Can they, turn into more than, what people might think they are?
Right.
There's a lot of question marks there.
Yeah, they're going to have to help him with the line because the guy is a pocket passer. He's not much of a mobile dude. I mean, he can move if you need him to, but what he strives in is having a clean pocket and putting a nice ball on somebody. And with that offensive line, it's damn near impossible. But I mean, whenever you're paying Dan Moore that kind of money, like it's pathetic. It's horrible. Upper management trash.
Absolutely, and it's the C word, the culture.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's where it all starts. And, just so everyone knows, Dynasty After Dark, Ty will give you his 5 most uncultured teams, kind of like how Big Culture Bob does. That'll be a part of it. But, look, I will say this, and I can tend to agree with Ty for the simple fact that, like, this isn't rookies or, like, people playing their first game. Like, if Ty Simpson come in and got fooled a little bit, people would be in a big hurry to throw him under the bus. And you know what? That isn't kind of fair to a rookie player, right? Coming in, getting their first start in a preseason game. But when you got Cam Ward, right, and you got this team, and we're hoping to see progress, right? We're hoping to see something. Like you said, Ty, this wasn't good. I mean, this wasn't good any way you cut it. The 49ers ain't like, one of these top 100 defenses of all time that he went up against either. I mean, these guys are just kind of average. I mean, they are what they are. And, it just really was kind of underwhelming. So, all right, Tessier, let's get in here now with you. Let's talk about this. What's your thoughts now here with Cam Ward? I mean, now we know that this wasn't a good performance. It was lackluster to say the least. And, I could give some players a little bit more slack, especially young players. But, this was really bad. Like, we were hoping to see something. It was a whole lot of nothing. As Ty said, and we talked, the offensive line's still a sieve. The weapons, will they gel? Will they mesh in time this year? What's your thoughts? Because the 49ers defense this season really ain't the 85 Bears. There's no doubt about that.
Those are all true and good point. I mean, I'm not going to make here any excuses, but my eyes believe what my eyes saw, and that was bad regardless. And the whole team as a whole needs to be better. The pass protection, the pass blocking, and that whole offensive line needs to watch that film and be better for the next time out for them because it's not making their leader, their captain, or their quarterback look really well on film. And I think, to Ty's credit, the new system coming in, new coaches, and these new group of pass catchers and players on both sides of the ball are going to need some moments to gain chemistry and click and mesh together with a whole new system coming in. But the worry meter, I think I'm at a 5, closer to a 4, just because we saw him go all last year in a god-awful situation. He's got to overcome a lot. It's like he's got to work and perform twice as hard to wash this performance out of our minds to get some sort of like relief back. In fact, they just need the development of him to get better, and he needs to not lose his confidence because as soon as that goes with the performance he's putting up here, it's just going to maybe bottom out and be an absolute bad situation for the guy. I don't want to see that, but overall, I mean, I think it's preseason week 1. I'm going to err on the side of just a lot of stuff to work out. I'm not going to put this as an entire black stain on his career and what's to come. I just think that once again, this is another one of those performances that he's capable of doing and coming up with and putting up bad highlights, but I'm hopeful for it. I think it'll get straightened out by week 1 and it'll be better, but I'm not like total red alert, but I'm also not ignorant of the fact that he isn't showing up or doing as well as he should when he gets called upon. So it needs to get better.
Absolutely needs to get better. And look, I mean, I'm hoping for the guy, right? Like, I know that there's ability there. Like Ty says, he could throw a good ball. They got to give him the time, and he's got to pick up his game as well, no doubt about it. But let me just say this in closing, Ty. Like, if you were in the Tennessee Titans situation right now, after that performance, would you march them back out there for another preseason go, like this first unit? I think it's needed.
Absolutely.
I think that I'd say until you show me something, we're going to go out there.
Yeah, I mean, they're still a bad football team regardless, but you still got to show some signs of improvement. And, yeah, I mean, they're going to have to win more football games this year. It's that simple. And, yeah, that wasn't good enough. And if you come out like that week one against a starting defense, it's going to be bad.
Could be ugly.
Well, to their credit, they're playing the Jets week one, so anything happens.
Well, they might not get intercepted, the Titans, right? I mean, that's one thing that might not happen. Could the streak continue there? But to share, let me just say this in closing. Ty, I think that he's on the same page with me. Like, if I'm running this team, I want them out there again. Like, show me something, right? Like, we need to start getting our game together. Like, we need to start really developing as a unit. I would put them out there again, at least for a little bit. I'm not saying they have to play a huge amount of time, but I want to see some more reps.
Yeah, definitely. I think they earned a full quarter at the very least. Maybe pushing it for a full half is a little much, but like I think they've earned the right to be playing a full quarter of reps together and really starting to mesh and straighten things out. Because that, like you guys said, it's not going to fly come week one. And for us in fantasy, it just puts a sour taste in our mouth and not wanting to invest in him and not trade for him or put him up high in the ADP for drafting. It's just bad case scenario. So I think that I'm on the same page as you guys, is that they're going to need as many reps as they can get before week one.
100%. And let me just say this. I'm at a 6, and that's probably the higher I've been on Cam Ward in a while, just because I was just disappointed, right? Like, they need to do better. They need to play better. Like, you're a second-year player now. It's time to start putting this together a little bit, right? Like, some people love to give out excuses like they like to give out candy bars, right? But, like, sometimes you got to put your foot down and say, show me something. That's why I want to see those reps. Hopefully they get another go at it. I think they need it. But we'll see. It's going to be interesting with this Tennessee Titans team. Can they overcome a lot of their struggles that we've seen last year? They need to get going in the right direction. But let's go over now to the last one here on the list. We'll start with you here, Teixeira. It's going to be panic or patience. We have a little bit of negative and semi-scary news coming out of week one of preseason and some training camps here, Teixeira. I'm going to talk about some players that have some stuff going on currently. So with you guys, I want to know, how concerned are you with the news on these players, and does this affect their overall value at all coming into the season? We'll start out with Jeremiah Love here, Teixeira, dealing with an ankle injury. He has one of these guys that, we're got massive expectations for, being one of these hopeful top-end running backs, and he's in a situation that ain't great with a team like Arizona, now dealing with an ankle injury. Let's go ahead and talk about patience, and let's go ahead and talk about panic when it comes to Jeremiah Love. Where are you at right now when it comes to him, the situation, and the injury?
For me, with the injury, I am just in a little bit more panic than I am patience, because now this gives the opportunity back again for James Conner, Tyler Algier, Trey Benson to take in more of the workload and take in more opportunities and reps and cut into the split even more, because he's going to have to take that time to rest and heal, which he should, because it's your first-round draft pick by the Cardinals, and you invested a lot of guaranteed money into him as a rookie, and you want him to be healthy and ready to go come the start of the season. So I would think that with this scare of an injury and how severity it is, that I would just probably not play him the rest of the preseason. I think that's the word coming out, is that they're not going to mess around with it, and he's not going to play any more games. And I think that until he's back 110% healthy, if I'm the Cardinals, I'm not trotting him out there. And because you're not trying to win a bunch of games. I mean, the reality is they're in probably one of the tougher divisions. You're not going to win a lot of games. You're probably going to have another high draft pick. And it's just, you want your franchise player to be healthy, be ready to perform at the highest level. And as far as for dynasty managers and roster managers, it makes us shiver a little bit with what we invested in the rookie draft. It's just, again, have backup plans going into that strategy of taking them as high as you did, is having a good running back room to, wade the time through until you can roll him out week to week as your solid starter in your lineups, because it's a soft tissue injury. These things linger and these things stick around for a while. And if they push them too hard and too early, you might, could possibly lose them for the entire year. I mean, I'm not questioning. I saw what he was able to do in the preseason game. I was really impressed by it. I like to see what he was capable of, but I'm also just not really excited about the whole situation with these Cardinals and what's going on with them and Jeremiah Love. I think it's a situation that you should be a little bit more scared than patient, being that what you invested in for him in dynasty drafts.
All right, to share a little bit more panic when it comes to Jeremiah Love right now with what's going on, Ty, we have the injury. It's an ankle injury. We know that those can linger, and he's on this Arizona Cardinal team who, you look at it, they're going to be down a lot of points. They'll probably be throwing the ball a lot, and they're just not really a team that's equipped and ready to go. And you look at the division, as Tessier said, very tough. I mean, what's your panic level, I guess, on Jeremiah Love if you're more panicked? And if you are going to be a little bit more patient, what's the outcome as far as benefiting? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not very panicked because I watched the guy play, and he looked really good. One thing I will say is I wish they wouldn't let him touch the ball so much. I mean, he had 14 touches in his preseason debut. That's too much.
In preseason.
Like, what you have there. He's kind of like a Genty, like a cannot miss. He's a good player. I honestly hope they kind of use him in a feature role, kind of like how the Lions use Gibbs. Like, just don't run him into the dirt right away. Kind of just store him and just let him just come in and terrorize the game a little bit here and there. But you don't want to run the legs right off the guy. I don't know. I'm just not too fussed because I think there's a lot of talent there, and I think eventually he will be the every down back. Absolutely. Just this year might be a little rough. There's gonna be some highs. There's gonna be some lows. But I think if you have him, yes, don't worry, hang on, because I think after this year, he'll probably be the every down guy, kind of like how the Lions have made Gibbs, and I think the guy's ultra talented. I mean, he looked awesome in that game, kind of looked like a prime Adrian Peterson, just the way his little shimmies, like just the way the guy played the game. It was pretty good performance, but you definitely don't want to see ankle injuries this early, but I think he'll be just fine. I just think, though, this year it's not going to be great.
I can agree wholeheartedly with that, and I honestly would do one better. I think it could be worse than what we've seen with Ashton Jenney last year, right? I'm not going to say it's going to be boatloads worse, but I think it could be worse because you're looking at a team, the Arizona Cardinals, that, like I said, are going to be down a lot of points. They'll be throwing the ball. If something happens to Jacoby Brissett, I think this whole thing could absolutely tank like the Titanic. And you look at the Cardinals. I mean, they're a team that should be positioning themselves for that higher draft pick, right? I mean, 100%. Like, if I'm in the management, I don't want to win a lot of games. You're not going to win a lot of games when you're dealing with the Rams, the Seahawks, and the 49ers all in your division. So, I mean, look, I like what you said, Ty. Don't run them into the ground. But I will say this year is going to be a little bit panicked because you're going to see people freaking out when he's not putting up these huge games, these huge numbers, because you know how it is. When you pick number one overall, you expect the savior, right? Everyone wants the savior. And sometimes it just isn't going to happen right away, right? Like, some of these guys ain't going to get the landing spot, number one. Some of these guys are going to be hurt, unfortunately, number two. And some of these guys, number three, just take a little bit time to develop as players. And then maybe next year they take off. A la Johnathan Taylor, right? Like, I remember that. First year it was disappointing. Second year, I think he was running back one overall, right? So, like, it can happen. And I will say this for Jeremiah Love. If people want to just absolutely throw away Jeremiah Love shares after this year, that's when you take advantage of it, right? That's whenever you come in and you try to get the discounted price. But I will say this high ankle sprain or this ankle injury, them things can linger, especially for running backs. It sucks. It sucks he got hurt. And I agree with Ty. Why is he touching the ball 14 times in preseason? Stupid.
Yeah.
Stupid. I agree with that. But I'm a little less panicked, but I am being really cautious. Yeah, I'm being very cautious as far as the way I'm approaching this year. I'm being, a little bit more level expectations. But let's go over now to the next player here, Ty. And it's going to be Breece Hall, right? I mean, here we go with Breece Hall. That Jet turf strikes again up there in MetLife, that Jet giant turf. I don't know when the league will do something about this, right? Like, I mean, as far as the way they're doing things up there. Has the Dynasty market overreacted to Breece Hall, Ty, or is there more of a potential buy low opportunity now? Does this make you more out on Breece Hall after this injury than you might have been, earlier on, or are you still kind of low-key in on him? What's your thoughts when it comes to Breece Hall? When's enough, I guess? Or are you going to be like, hey, I'm taking advantage of this and buying low?
Yeah, I mean, luckily enough, it wasn't anything too serious. I mean, they're saying it's a minor. They're considering it a minor groin strain, but it's already been frustrating enough if you're a Breece Hall owner. And, I mean, personally for me, and I don't want to overreact, but after, I had, some hope going into this year, but after that, and I know it's nothing too serious, but it's just kind of a bummer. Personally for me, I mean, I ain't going to sell him. I'm going to hold on to him, but I just don't think it's going to be as good as the years I thought he was going to have. I just don't really know. It's just you wanted to believe it was going to be like a fairy tale season where he was going to come back and be like a top 5 guy, but I just don't see that happening, especially with an injury this early. Hopefully he don't miss no time. I doubt he will, but it's already a bad situation, and just lingering injuries already in the preseason just makes it even worse for me and makes me uncomfortable just thinking, can I trust this guy to be a top 2 back on my team? Is he going to be there all season? So, I ain't going to sell. I'm not going to panic sell or anything unless someone wows me with an offer. But I am really disappointed by the news, and it's been kind of a bummer.
It's really deflating.
Yeah, it
right?
is.
It
Yeah.
is. I mean, after what we've heard all off season, and like you said, Ty, it ain't like it's the end of the world, but it's just that one more thing, right? It's like the Jenga block, right? Eventually the tower crumbles, and it's like, you just hope that the tower stands, but, at some point it just gets to be hard to do.
Yep.
I can agree with that, but we got to say what Tessier has to say here about his guy, Breece Hall. Tessier, here we go. We had all the bad news, him re-signing with the Jets this offseason, right? I mean, he's going back into this terrible situation. Now he's banged up. Like Ty said, it's just getting a little bit frustrating. I know you like this player, but, I mean, as far as the patience, the panic, where are you at in this situation? Because, it's definitely getting hard to deal with.
Yeah, I can understand it objectively for the fantasy community as a whole and fantasy managers. You want to have win now. You want to have your best players and their availability so you can go out and win 10 for ships. For me, I'm at a patience, and my patience level is still probably like a 7 or 8, closer to an 8. Because the way I've been doing my builds on my rosters, Breece Hall has been like my 3rd or 4th running back in my rotation. And I think that's a perfect spot for him now and going forward on rosters, especially as contenders, is having him just be that fill-in guy, that high upside boom play, because he's shown up to this point that it's getting shakier and shakier for him to be that anchor running back 1 or the running back 2 for your contending teams, just because of the situation. And now with this injury, that kind of makes it more of like a foggier view for the 2026 season. I know that the Jets made their offensive line better, and they brought in some pieces and made things better, but hopefully this is what they're saying. It's just a minor issue for Breece and a minor setback. And if I'm even a rebuilder, you could probably add him. He's a young back to your running back room for cheaper prices, and I'm all for that. I mean, as a rebuilder too, you're probably not winning a bunch of games, so adding a running back of his caliber, his upside at a cheaper price than what you probably are trying to spend for him earlier is probably not a bad strategy to go about it, depending on how your roster construction is. As a contender, I'm certainly going after and get him, because if I can even just throw him in my flex spot when he comes back and healthy and have that possibility of a 20, 30-point game in my lineups, I'm happy about that. And with his age and where it's at, despite the contract extension being with the Jets for the next 3-4 years, I just think that he's just a player that I like the talent and the ability. I still believe in it. I think he's somebody that you should have on rosters going forward if you're trying to compete and stay as a top 4 team in your leagues. What I think the Jets should do is probably shut him down the rest of preseason with this, which it sounds like they probably will. And as going into week 1, I mean, they're playing the Titans. Hopefully he's healthy and has a big game for you, and then this gets all just put behind you in the past, and just go forward with Breece Hall on your team.
I will say this. I mean, I'm okay with being a little bit patient this year, but if I don't see that running back 1 finish, a decently high running back 1 finish, it's going to be more of a sell for me next year. Like I'm just tired of this team. I'm tired of this situation, and it just seems to get worse. It's like Ty's credit, like it's very deflating, right? And I look at Chase Brown right now, and I look at James Cook. Like if I had to get into one of them players to trade Breece Hall away, I would do it.
I'd do it.
I would do it in a heartbeat because we see it. It's more consistent. It's better offensive situations. And that's the hard part about it. Like, and I think Breece Hall's every bit of talent as those guys are. But when you're dealing with injuries, you're dealing with the Jets, right? Like, it's just like, man, oh, man, it's like, when is enough? And, I hope to God that he does come back healthy. And if he can give us that Breece Hall type finish, then, we'll be able to breathe some life into this again. But if it's running back 13 or even 11 or 20-some, you're talking about a nightmare if it's 20-some. But, like, if it's anything like that, it's not going to be good enough, right? And I think that's where I'm at. I think it's one more red button for Breece Hall for me, right? I think that's one more red button away from just being out, unfortunately. And it's all because of the situation and the frustration you have to deal with there. But let's go over now to the next player here, and we're going to be starting out here with you to share. It's going to be Chubba Hubbard. Is this Johnathan Brooks' moment? Because Hubbard is week to week with a hamstring issue, opening the door for guys like Johnathan Brooks to make his case to potentially, take that job or get more involved. How are you feeling about Chubba Hubbard right now here, Teixeira? And do you think that, there's an opportunity for one of these other backs to come in the back door? Or are you going to use this to maybe buy Chubba even lower if you could possibly pull that off?
Yeah, I'm still in on the Chubba Hubbard situation. I'm holding him if I got him. And if I don't have him, I'm going after him at buying lower costs. I don't think Johnathan Brooks is going to be a full 17-game guy with the Carolina Panthers, and I'm not threatened by what they have underneath them between A.J. Dillon and Trevor Etienne. I just think that he holds more value season long as he comes back from this injury than to whatever you're trying to sell him for. I mean, there's already a stank on him. People think that the Johnathan Brooks is going to be a thing, and they're not paying the prices that you try to sell him for. I think going after him now with this injury is probably the better option as a contender to have in your rotation with one of your four running backs. And I think that if you're already 1 foot out of this guy, this is just more reason to get out of him. And if that's the case, cool, I'll take him off your hands at a cheaper price.
Agreed, right? I mean, I think that you're right on a lot of scenarios there to share, just because, like, if the cost is going to be like a second, third-ish type deal for Chubba or whatever it might be, a single second or something like that, adding as a depth back, I think it's a really good add. And I really am not too afraid of, like, this whole Johnathan Brooks noise. Like, I love the talent of Brooks in college, but 2 ACLs, I don't care who you are. And if you're the Carolina Panthers, you're going to be a little bit more cautious to the situation. I don't care what anyone thinks about that either, because they're not going to just run the kid into the ground knowing he's coming back off of 2 bad leg injuries, So I'm going to go with Chubba Hubbard here. I think that I'm going to buy the dip if there is a dip. Ty, do you agree?
Yeah, I'm definitely leaning Hubbard. I mean, my God, look what Dowdle did last year while he was out, and as soon as he come back, he was kind of their guy. Like, Johnathan Brooks can't even do near what Dowdle did last year. I mean, 2 straight games, he almost ran for almost over 200-plus yards, and as soon as Chubba come back, he was kind of the main guy again. So I will say I am a little concerned with Chubba because, I mean, the injury's kind of coming out of nowhere now. I mean, he's going to have to start staying on the field. But I still think once he does come back, I don't think Johnathan Brooks can do enough personally for me. I think it's a nice story, but I think he's pretty much toast. And I could even see that just being kind of a timeshare until Chubba gets back. I would stay very far away from Brooks. And, yeah, I just personally think whenever Chubba comes back, that's going to be his job, kind of like last year.
And I know Chuba's injured, and we just kind of, like, were complaining about the Breece Hall situation, but, like, you can buy Chubba at a fraction of the cost of what it would cost to get Breece Hall off somebody, right? I think that's why it flip-flops for me there. Like, I could tolerate a little bit more because of the cost, right? And, two, we know that, I mean, Chubba, when he's healthy, has delivered some decent numbers. I mean, we expect Breece Hall, selfishly, I guess, expect him to be that top 5-7 guy all the time. Chubba Hubbard, we just think, like, hey, man, if he gets us that 10 to 15 finish, he's going to do exactly what we hope for as a running back 2 or a flex type guy, right? So that's kind of where I'm at. And I think that's the difference between the two guys when we're talking about patience, we're talking about injuries, them type of things, what you can deal with, how much you can deal with when it comes to certain players. But let's finish this one out here, Ty. We're going to start with you. TreVeyon Henderson, pass protection issues. Reports have indicated Henderson has struggled in pass protection, potentially keeping Ramondre Stevenson heavily involved yet again. We did just get the report today via Sleeper that the 50-50 timeshare is now back in effect. It's looking that way. How alarming is this to you having TreVeyon Henderson? Or are you going to try to use this to buy low? Or is this more of a panic type situation when it comes to what we're hearing out of TreVeyon Henderson's camp?
I mean, personally for me, I'm not surprised. I kind of figured that this was kind of be a 50-50 thing. I wasn't one of them people thinking that this was going to be Henderson's year and Ramondre was just going to be kind of dust. Yeah, it is concerning, though, because this is a team where, they're not going to put up with that. You got to be good in every facet of the game to play a lot of football, especially in that offense. So, yeah, I think it's, like I said, I'm not surprised. I'm actually kind of glad that they're kind of saying it's going to be a 50-50. I was hoping it wasn't going to be like a 60-40 Ramondre. This is kind of the best case scenario for me. But, being on this team with the Patriots, the culture. Like, you gotta be good in every pretty much facet of the game to be on the field at all times. So TreVeyon's gonna have to beef up and get better in that aspect of the game. But yeah, I'm not surprised, but I know a lot of people kind of thought this would be Henderson's shining moment this year, and it looks like it's gonna kind of be another, I shouldn't say stinker, but a little bit disappointing year, possibly on tap.
So if you got a 27 first on tap for TreVeyon, you're taking it?
It would have to. Yeah, I'd have to look at the team, and if I thought it'd be a top 5 pick, yeah.
Maybe even top 7, would you consider it?
Yeah, I'd consider it.
Okay. All right, interesting. So Ty has been all over this, right? He's been one of them proponents of saying Ramondre Stevenson isn't dead, and saying that it was going to be closer to 50-50. I think a lot of people were hoping it would be 60-40. TreVeyon, but, Ty said it's going to probably be real similar to what you've seen last year. So, Ty, you have been on that to your credit. Teixeira, okay, here it is. Pass protection issues. Alarming that we kind of heard that early, in the week, and then all of a sudden, here it comes. The 50-50 timeshare becomes, kind of official via Sleeper there from what we're hearing. What's your thoughts on TreVeyon Henderson? Panic, or are we going to be more patient with him? Where are you at on this right now? If you have him rostered, are you going to try to buy low, use this as leverage? What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I think with like what Ty was saying, if you had any doubt going into this season, now it's just more of, if you want out, you get him for what you can get out of him. Now, I personally think this is a breath of fresh air because I've been patient with TreVeyon. I'm going to continue and remain to be patient with them. I think 50-50 was best case scenario for this season, just based off what Vrabel was showing us last season with Ramondre and how they were running that offense and what they were trying to do. I think he's still a very young back, too, and the fact that he's going to get a 50-50 split to start the year, that gives him more, I think, level playing field of, like, working his way into getting more than 50-50, maybe a 60-40 by the end of the year. And at that, I'd be ecstatic and happy because as much as they give Stevenson the bag and they are loyal to him, I just think that until they bring in another running back, I think Henderson's going to be the future on that roster. He just needs to, like what Ty said, clean up the pass protection, just learn how to freaking pass block, do more film, put more reps in the weight room, do whatever it takes because he's like a Ferrari. As soon as he gets the blessing from the coach and the 100% confidence behind him, he could have a series of these big games that we saw him do in flashes last year and have more of a workload. He stays healthy. I'm not panicking at all. I'm just, with a lot of builds that I have, I'm not relying upon him to be my 1 or my 2. I'm happy with where it's at. Just going to be a little bit more patient and see where this goes. But after this year, if it's another year of, same or worse, it does warrant some question taking of like what to do with him and what I'd be willing to take on to move him from my roster.
Right. And this is high risk, high reward type player right now, right? Like that's just kind of the way it looks in my eyes. Like I mean, if you're well equipped enough to hold him, I have no problem with it. But look, if you get cold feet and you get that 107-ish type offer in 2027, I wouldn't mind taking it, right? And I definitely would entertain it. I know Ty talked about that. I think it's worth being entertained. And it's not that I don't think he's going to be a good player, but like, could he be one of these guys that just, could blow up one of these games and, be back to that, 8 to 9 point type of guy the next week? It's entirely possible. And it's just based off the system and, how well they're going to use them, how often they're going to use them. And I think that, if you had that kind of, thoughts in your mind as far as doubts, I think now's a good time to pull the trigger if you're going to get out. Because if you could get one of these picks in 2027, I think that you're more inclined to do it. Like 2026, that was horrible. Like I will hold Travion Henderson all day long unless it was like the 101, obviously, right? But like anything else, I'm more inclined to just go ahead and hold and see what happens, get a little bit more frisky. But in this 2027 class, if you do get a little bit cold feetish, at least the class is in your favor to go ahead and say, okay, I will take another gamble and see what I can get out of this rookie class. So just throwing that out there. But, high risk, high reward, guys. I mean, if you have the depth and you have, the team that could hold on and wait, no problem doing that. And if you get a little cold feet, I think the value's right this time with this draft class. So I don't mind that either. From a dynasty standpoint, some of these players we can be 50-50 on just based off of what's coming down the road. But we have a winner. The winner of tonight's episode is Ty, because he got the Cam Ward stuff, he was talking about, and, he had the Ramondre Stevenson, Travion Henderson thing down. So, Ty, you are the ominous predictor here. We have the big Dynasty DNA kickoff show coming up here at the end of the month where you guys, give your predictions. I know last year you called Drake May as a top 5 quarterback. I'm sure you have something special for us on the next episode, but go ahead and give us something here tonight that is on your mind. It could be maybe the Steelers quarterbacks. Maybe you're pleased with that.
Well, I am pleased with it. I would probably just say, if I had to say anything, just don't overreact too much on preseason. I think that's the big thing. Don't go out and waste all your assets just because a guy come out and had a good game or 2 good games. At the end of the day, it's still preseason. Like I said, these guys you still want them to do well, but they're playing against backups, and there's a big difference between starters and backups. So, it's good to see guys like Drew Aller and Ty Simpson ball out, but they're not playing against first-team defenses yet. So, don't splurge on them, but good start.
Definitely a good lesson to tell everyone. And let me just say this. Ty must have been working some overtime. Little breaking news. Keenan Allen to the Colts, 1-year deal. Oh, nice. I'd say Ty had something to do with that.
Right on.
His veteran players club. It shows how confident the Colts are in Alec Pierce, I would say. But let me tell you guys, what a great episode as always. Can't wait to get Mike back next week. We got a lot of great stuff coming up here for you guys as we talked on the socials. Tessiera's got a lot going on over there. If you are enjoying the content on Spotify, Apple Pod, Stitcher, Amazon, any of the big podcasting platforms, and you haven't yet, please follow and 5-star the show. It greatly helps. We so appreciate it. Check out Dynasty DNA on YouTube, guys. Subscribe over there to YouTube. We'll be doing all kinds of great stuff. Live content this year. Start sits. All kinds of other awesome live stuff that you could join in. Talk with us over there. We'd love to have you. Also, check out Dynasty DNA on X. Follow us on X at Dynasty DNA _. And not to mention the Dynasty DNA TikTok page, Facebook, all the other socials. We'd love to have you follow us over there and join us for the 2026 season. But listen, I know I speak for Ty, Tessiera, Mike, who isn't even here, when I say we all hope that you guys have a great rest of your week ahead of you. And we'll see you all on the next episode of From Whistle to Whistle.